Yo, what's going on, everyone? Happy Cancer full moon, happy winter solstice, and a Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, and also a big happy Gregorian New Year as well. There's a lot going on, huh? All right, guys, so I'm here to speak about the full moon in Cancer and the energy collectively, what I'm feeling is coming up here. And for the sake of our 3D collective audience retention rate, I'll be speaking quite fast here, so you may need to listen to this a few times. And also, it's highly suggested to re-listen to this after 2 weeks as well to come back to it. All right, guys, so all planets are direct except Uranus. And what this means is that all exuding planetary energies and their nakshatras are moving at full steam ahead, whereas offering complete energetic support and divine timing to this infamous Cancer full moon. What I'm going to be talking about here in terms of the, the audio part about it, is I'm going to be speaking about 3 planetary and nakshatra placements here. The first being the Cancer full moon squaring Chiron at 28 degrees Pisces. And also the second is going to be the Cancer full moon at 0 degrees. And also the third is going to be the opposing Capricorn sun at 0 degrees as well. What this type of energy, all in all, guys, the name that I would like to name this here is becoming the unchallenged victor. All right. So the first thing here, the full moon here squaring Chiron. Now, the nakshatra that's involved here is Revati, which is, ruled by Mercury. So we can describe this energy here as being the void. One previous stage in life is at an end for us, individually and collectively, where we have to look at things and say, have prior conditions and attachments been dissolved? And it's kind of like things seem to be taking form, but not quite in your midst regarding for full attainment, It's like, I feel like we're being asked to take a leap of faith and to muster a sense of faith and to really look at our deep-seated wounds and really say they don't define my ass anymore. They don't. And no longer being afraid to go deep. And it's interesting, on a side note here, I was just asking a couple other spiritual individuals today, why are we so afraid of going deep within and bringing everything to the surface? Why do we all view that, whether you are cognizant of being on a spiritual path or not, why do we view it as being so fearful, So, what the heavens are, when I say heavens, guys, I just mean, behind the veil. What the heavens are offering us here is emblematic of the cows, C-O-W-S, because the cows are emblematic of giving nourishment. And what's happening down here in the 3D is emblematic of the calves, which is those, meaning us, who receive this nourishment. And the energy surrounding here is the power to nourish. So this is just complete liberation, guys, the complete end and in the void space of transition into the next phase of soulful and spiritual evolution. This energy brings forth a very mothering or parenting energy, wanting to protect and prevent existential crisis, not just for ourselves, but also for individuals that, we care for and love. Now, the second thing here is the moon being here at 0 degrees Cancer, and the nakshatra that's involved here is Punarvasu. And, these chakra names are kind of crazy, but that's pretty much what it is. Anyway, this chakra is emblematic of the planet Jupiter, or it's ruled by Jupiter, I should say. And what's also interesting here too, guys, is that Jupiter is home right now in Sagittarius, and Jupiter is conjunct Mercury, which is also in Sagittarius, which Mercury so happens to be, which is ruled by Revati that we just spoke of, also Chiron as well. Are we picking this up here? This is divine guidance here. Anyway, so here we're trying to seek the truth and a higher perspective, right? Now, what this, moon here, this full moon being in 0 degrees Cancer in the nakshatra Punarvasu, what this means is just, a place of resting, a place of coming together and letting things gather together. It's like returning to the original state and its forces being pulled together. And this gives one the capacity for naturally allowing things to come together as they're being directed in a particular direction. The power here that's surrounding here is the power to gain wealth and substance. Now, this is not wealth meaning monetarily. It could be for some, but it's not. This is gaining the wealth of prosperity. And it just so happens that, in Latin, the word prosperity is prospero, which means that which is beneficial for the spirit. Now, the heavens are here offering us the energy of wind or air, which is a capacity to change when necessary. And what's happening here on Earth is we can look at it as wetness or rain, basically being emblematic of the ability to nourish. We can look at this as like the revitalization of plants. And when I say plants, it's more of like symbolically regarding our roots and what can and does nourish us and the vibration that we get once we consume it. And also the roots reaching into Gaia to gain and to obtain, that water that's needed for nourishment and growth. And also what's very interesting too is this is a waning gibbous full moon as well, which means that when the plants go really deep, their roots go really deep into the soil, into the earth to find water that's, stored deep beneath the surface. Kind of like what we're doing right now, So what this energy basically means, guys, is we're no longer doing things the same way or within a certain way. We're now taking emotional responsibility, not blaming anyone or anything externally. We're allowing things to just naturally and energetically move at their own pace and to move smoothly, as like to actually flow organically and in the right direction as intended and spiritually guided to. Now, guys, as with every full moon, the moon is opposed by the sun defaultly. I figured I would add this sun here because it's a second luminary and it's also, opposing, and it's also at 0 degrees. Figured giving some, awareness regarding the sun as well. So the last thing here I want to speak about, this one's a little long, but bear with me, guys. Excuse me, the sun here being at 0 degrees of Capricorn. This is within the Nakshatra Uttara Ashada. And the planet that is, that rules over Uttara Ashada is the sun. Isn't that interesting? So here, guys, the information of our spiritual nature must now be assimilated. And we then create a different life based upon our new understandings. Given a chiseling process sort of begins to take place collectively and individually. And this happens by us facing our challenges willingly and with a new, wider and gained perspective. In a sense, this is like taking us to ever deeper and deeper understandings regarding the nature or the true nature of reality and the true nature of the self. The energy here is emblematic of the power to grant an unchangeable victory. And what's kind of what the heavens are offering us here is regarding granting one the strength to win. And what's going on here in the 3D us is to achieve spiritual liberation from prior debilitating beliefs and imprints. And here, guys, this is where we become the unchallenged victor. However, such process requires time and allowance, becoming the latter victory. So like this is the type of energy that kind of tends to come to fruit later on. And it's as it doesn't yield immediate results, it manifests somewhere down the line through the means of a breakthrough from facing such given challenges, whatever that may be. I look at this as like prerequisites for greatness. All in all, guys, it's peeling away at the layers of the ego and getting to the root of things, granting us a higher level of strength and awareness and a different perspective, and overall, a greater level of confidence within ourselves. This beginning to end process is the type of energy that tends to play out for this sun placement here in Capricorn at 0 degrees is sort of as followed, guys. Excuse me. We then begin to understand, what underlies all of creation and what underlies the one self as well, or oneself as well, This then provides the forces necessary to expand our awareness. This also allows us to, to be firm in our resolve, or in any resolve, through having and allowing the light of awareness to expand our awareness. What's found here is us creating the foundation for our final resting, which is inciting our liberation. So we are then free to reside in pure consciousness. This brings about humility, which is gained and developed through the means of suffering. Now, when I say suffering, guys, it's just going through our own, our own crap, our own shit that's in our subconscious, and looking at challenges that come up for us and facing them, with confidence and knowing you're gonna conquer them. That's what I mean when I'm mentioning suffering here. It's going through that experience that isn't favorable. So, humility is gained here and developed through the means of suffering by facing challenges, where we begin to integrate a higher level of humility resulting in becoming humble. Because through humility and being humbled is where we then develop empathy. I look at this as like what I usually always say, it's no one truly understands until they're the one standing there. It's that type of energy, which is the actual chiseling process, as I mentioned earlier. Here is, where we're beginning to recognize, and we have recognized, that there is, in fact, a deep connection between the self and others, or the other. Realizing that there isn't a difference at the end of it all. It's, like I said, acting as like a prerequisite for unity consciousness. That came out weird. Acting as a prerequisite for unity consciousness as individuals. And then what's going to happen is we build this compassion and this humility and this humbling, which is then going to be, like I said, the stepping stones to unity consciousness. I thought I would throw that in there. That's in the future, but just thought I would say that for you guys. Anyway, coming back to the main point here, we're beginning to recognize that ultimately there's nothing to lose. Now, when I say this, there's nothing in life that we can actually lose, or that we can manage to actually lose. Because the important aspect here is dignity. Whereas dignity can never be lost, because the dignity of oneself resides in one's connection with the soul, which exemplifies one's true nature. All in all, guys, this is going to help us build confidence in our own strength. Let's go ahead and pop out a couple of cards and see what other guidance comes through for us, okay? All right, you guys, that was a little bit long, but I hope you guys kind of caught on to what I was saying there. As I said, listen to it a couple more times, and you start to see and come back to this in 2 weeks as well and see how far you've come, okay? All right, Father God, what other guidance do you have for us? Okay. So, the first card that popped out, the Fool reversed. All right. And the second being the Six of Swords reversed. What the heck is that? Okay, a little closer for you guys. And then the third that popped out is the Stranger of Winds reversed, or we can look at this as the Page of Winds, or Page of Swords reversed. Okay, let's see here. Let's see what's coming through. We're at this stage in our evolution, guys, not only, as individuals, but also collectively. As, we spoke about earlier. What type of vibration are we going to continue to stay in here? I believe that this is somewhat of like a choice. It's kind of what I'm picking up here. Are we going to stay within a certain type of vibration, where, interesting, where sometimes we should not feel the need to walk away from something, especially if we resonate with it. It's like that one thing, sometimes where it's like, I can't get away, or I can't walk away from that one thing. Now, whether that'll be a spiritual path, whether that'll be a relationship, whatever the case may be, you know what I mean? Walk away from a person, whatever it is. It's not necessarily wanting to walk away or feeling like there isn't a need to do it, But when we stay in that type of vibration, we have a choice. Are we going to operate from fear? Are we going to view or perceive the future as being that which is fearful? And are we going to manifest that within our reality, within our social circles? Are we going to listen to ourselves, or are we going to listen to other individuals? When I say listen, meaning whose path are you going down? Whose path are you manifesting and breaking through, and walking in? Is it your path, or is it someone else's path, or the path that someone wants you to walk in or expects you to walk in? We have to get out of that expectation shit. It's old, it's outdated, it's an old, horrible paradigm. There's no such thing as expectation. We immediately lose. And when expectation comes up, that then is fear. It's a form of fear, guys, where we want things to come out a certain way so that then it's the most favorable for us, so that then it prevents any type of adversity, which then prevents any type of growth. I hope that makes sense. You know what I'm kind of saying here? So going back to my main point here is, are we going to trust ourselves and do what it is that we need to do for ourselves, regardless of how everyone else feels about it? Or are we going to walk another person's path? Sometimes we need to walk maybe another person's path for us to recognize and realize that it's maybe not the right thing for us. I know I'm kind of bouncing back and forth, but the main energy here is, it's all about perception, guys. That's really what it is. And everything that we just spoke of right now, regarding the nakshatras and the energy and all of that, guys, it's beautiful energy there. And it's all for our highest good. But when we operate from fear, right here, when we operate from fear, we don't allow all of that energy to come and bless the shit out of us, And 2 cards for the Fool. Oh, interesting. All right. So the first one, the 7 of Swords reversed. Interesting. And, oh, nice, the Hermit card here. Okay. We're going to catch ourselves. We're going to finally realize and take that emotional responsibility and inventory regarding our active participation. The shit that we do and say to ourselves as a way of coping with things, but it's not even coping any longer. It's delusion. And we're going to look at things from a higher perspective, because we're going to allow the energy to come through, because we're going to realize, like I said earlier, we have nothing to lose, because it's all about dignity. And this isn't a card of dignity, the 7 of Swords. But when it's reversed, I look at the 7 of Swords reversed as someone finally being caught, which actually in turn incites dignity. And how that person reacts to themselves getting caught, whether you catch yourself or someone else catches you, or you catch someone else, says a lot about who they are inside. And if they're also willing to admit their wrongs, within the situation. But if they don't want to admit their wrongs and they want to carry on these lies and deception, why are you still there? Why are you still around them, And that's where the Hermit card comes in, where we gain a different perspective, a spiritual perspective. We go into the dark cave and come out with the lantern of light. And that lantern carries the stars from, the cosmic stars from our galaxy. Let's see what's going on with this Stranger of Winds reverse. 2 cards, please. What is the information that we're going to... Where do we get our information from? Oh, 3 cards. Okay. Where does it come from? Because where we get our information from, which is sort of our support system, right? Where is it really coming from? What types of people do we get this from? What types of vibration do they set and give off as well? Because then that means that you're going to then spread that awareness. And if it isn't favorable, you're continuing to keep it alive, and then you're giving it to other people if it's not viable. I hope you guys, kind of understand what I'm trying to say here. Yep. The Ace of Cups reversed. Interesting. The 10 of Cups reversed. And the Queen of Wands reversed as well. This is our truth, guys. Our truth and what we believe it to be, you know, and our perception of it. And where we get it from is going to be emblematic of how happy we emotionally are and how well we're able to deal with our emotions and keep an emotional balance. And that emotional balance and us being open to other and different perspectives by walking into the dark cave and not operating from fear and getting it from other individuals, different perspectives, you know, when we take that step, we transmute the energy into positivity and we learn something from the situation. But when we don't take that first step and we operate from fear and we're just like, no new friends, no new friends, when we start to do that, we close ourselves off to anything that we could possibly benefit from and learn. And this energy is very supportive of that. But don't operate from fear, because when you do, you end up like the Queen of Wands reversed here, where you end up forcing situations because it's what you think you want. And then when things go, you know, astray, things don't really work out sometimes the way that they're like supposed to. And then we keep fighting it and keep fighting it because we think that it's what we want, when the divine's trying to prevent us from, you know, debilitating free will. But yet we keep working at it, wanting it. Eventually it's going to not come to pass, and then you're going to be all upset and pissed off why it didn't come to pass when it wasn't even your path to be walking to begin with. That's when we aren't emotionally stable. We're not emotionally happy with ourselves, and we don't exude that type of vibration, and we stay with a lower vibration, and then we become upset when cheating and lying and stealing individuals come into our lives. Well, that's how you feel inside, that you feel you deserve. You see what I mean? It's all bad, but it's perception based. Interesting. They want me to take the card from the top here to clarify the Six of Wands. The Six of Pentacles here. And the card from the bottom of the deck, which is the Two of Cups reversed. Okay, let's see here. Whenever I see two cards with the same number, regardless of, you know, element, it's a decision once again. What are we going to give to? What are we going to surround ourselves to? Okay, what are we going to surround ourselves in, given everything we talked about over here? This type of energy and how it transmutes is going to be absorbed through your energy field, right? And what are you giving to? What are you supplying nourishment to? To negativity and to a lower vibration? And then when you're thrown off kilter and your masculine and feminine is completely thrown off and you don't know what's up, what's down, why would you be upset at that? You know, I always use this example, you know, we can't touch the burning stove and then kick the stove and say, you little shit, you fucking burned me. Oh my God, I got burned by the stove. Like, you know what I mean? That's all a learning lesson, guys, and you guys will be fine. But it's all about perception. It really is. And when we don't want to go deep, or we refuse to go deep to see the roots of it, which we're getting there, and I believe we are, when we do that and we try to go around the issue, we keep tripping over ourselves. And we keep tripping over ourselves, and we manifest more of what we feel we deserve and how we are operating. Because if I were to ask you, what is happiness? What would you say? You know? And also, I would like, you know, everyone here or anyone watching to ask themselves, or me to ask you, name me 5 things that you love in this world, you know, that you're passionate about and that you love. All right, do you have those 5 things? In that list that you just made right now, you know, that mental list, did you include yourself, meaning self-love? Because that should have been the first one. You know, you love yourself more than anything. And if we didn't include ourselves within that list, what situations are we giving to that's keeping us off kilter, throws us off kilter? What are we giving to And what do we need to walk away from? But you can't walk away when you're upside down and your masculine and feminine is off. You can't walk away during like that type of time. It'll all go bad and you won't learn the spiritual lesson from it. But that's still giving to the energy, but in an indirect way where it's adversity. All right, guys. Remember, never, ever, ever hide the person that you truly are inside and you truly yearn to be, and your soul yearns, your spirit yearns to be. Because you never know who might just absolutely love and adore that person. Hell, you might even love and adore that person. Time to meet them. All right, guys. As always, God bless and love and light.